Hi everyone, this is Jorge Gamboa. A lot of my friends call me George. Welcome to Unstoppable Leaders and the Spanglish World Network on Sing.tv channel 250. Please remember to download the Sing.tv app on your mobile application stores and as well as all the TV manufacturers since 2016, Google, Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and we're everywhere. So once you do that, show us some love, leave some comments, and rate it. Today we have a very special guest, Cesar Morales, Marketing and Branding Director at Stokes. Cesar, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Jorge, for the invitation. It's a pleasure for me to be here.
Yeah. So one of the things that I like to do, and for those that join us for the very first time, is the first 25 minutes or so to talk about your journey, how you got to where you are today, from that leadership mindset perspective, and the remaining 25 minutes about what you're doing, your passion with it, digital marketing. So, can you tell us in summarize how you got where you are? What is your journey?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying, well, so I was born and raised in Mexico, in the north of Mexico, in a city called Hermosillo, Sonora. And basically, I studied Bachelor of Commerce with a major in marketing and a minor in graphic design in Guadalajara, that is in the central Mexico. So basically, I started right after my graduation. I started working in political marketing, where I had a chance to have a small company for marketing research, doing different type of projects such as mystery shoppers, um, like focus groups, and as well and some opinion polls, as was a part of political campaign where we needed to basically evaluate the preferences of the different candidates for the governor of my state in Mexico. So I did some opinion polls as well. So I started. That's how I started in marketing. I was very passionate of politics in Mexico, but then I met my wife. That she's a French Canadian speaker. So basically, for that reason, I moved to try to be here in Canada. In Canada, at the beginning, definitely was a little bit challenging, especially moving to Quebec, where I had not only to improve my English was okay, but I had to learn French. And basically, that was one of my biggest challenges at the beginning of my career. So I had a chance to really dedicate myself and learn, especially in marketing. And it's not only the language what's important when you are doing marketing in another country. It's also the culture, knowing who are the key personalities. You want to try to do marketing messages to specific for locals, right? So you need to talk the language, you need to know the culture, you need to know who are these people from the history and current now as well. So that was one of my biggest challenges when I started and coming to Montreal, but it was so far going. It has been successful in that side with a lot of effort, but I managed to start marketing in retail marketing. So I basically I started with a company called Bouclair. It's a national chain of home decor stores that is from Quebec. It's a family-owned business, and basically, I really did a lot of my experience was from that company where I spent 15 years working there. So I started as a junior marketing coordinator, and then I moved up to a management position there, where retail is, I would say, one of the greatest ways to learn and gain experience in marketing, because you touch like from the brick and mortar, the customer experience in a store, in the more basic retail, like or basic marketing like techniques, to the more technological and to the digital marketing side, when you have to use a lot more of the either like your knowledge on whatever, like database, customer experience, online, promotional. So that was a really really good experience, and I was able to move up in different positions there, touching again from PR um, to the different website launches, rebranding. So it was a really really full complete experience, and from there I was headhunted to come to Stokes, and I have been here almost 4 years at Stokes as marketing, and recently promoted to also branding director for Stokes. So that's so far. I have a little bit over 20 years of experience in marketing. So that has been a little bit a summary of my journey in in the marketing world. Yeah, in Canada. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it. So now let's go back in time, because it's easy to hear how someone gets successful with the nice stories, but really where you have to learn were those challenging moments that you have to overcome hurdles, obstacles to elevate yourself to the next level, right? And you mentioned a little bit about when you migrated to Quebec, that you needed to not only improve your English but learn French, which was quite challenging. So, from your mindset perspective, how do you go about it? Because it's a completely different culture, different way of working. Everything is completely different to Mexico. How did you tackle that
I
challenge?
really, yeah. So I really, well, I did a few things. Starting with really, I stopped speaking Spanish. I tried to really force myself to talk to French and push myself to talking French. Second, I was really again doing a lot of research, spending time listening to the radio, listening to different, like reading newspapers, really trying to understand, reading books. I was really, really trying to learn, as well as was in full time courses in French for sure. Like I did at least 6 months of full time French immersion, and I did also English for business to be able to learn. But it was really again being really curious about, and not just saying, okay, now I know how to speak it, but like, do I know like the what are the personalities? Who was the prime minister in Quebec in the 60s? Who was the what are the political parties? Where are they? Because marketing is very like various. You
Mhm.
need to know everything, right? You need to know what are the sports that are playing, what are the teams, what are the singers, what are the stars on the TV, what are the TV shows. So you needed really to learn. So I was constantly trying, and I still do it because that evolves, right? I still need to keep myself informed, to be able to, whenever we're in a debate with people who was born in the country, and say, okay, who we're going to choose as a spokesperson for the company or for this campaign, and then you have to have valid ways to prove, and that you know also who are the key. And sometimes a lot of like a lot of people from here were surprised at, how do you know this person or this group or this singer? It's just because you have to push yourself to learn it, and especially also in the language. French is very hard to write because there's a lot of exceptions, and that definitely again through reading and literature and through preparing myself, I was even able to correct to locals their French. So, but
Wow.
it's marketing. But marketing is about communication. Marketing is about
Yeah.
communication. It is about that. The second thing I will say is I did. Look for opportunities as internships where I was being able to like speak and do actual work. It was not remunerated, but my what I felt I was gaining was mainly gain the experience to put also on your CV. Okay, I work at the YMCA, I work at this organization, and trying to prove that you are able to communicate and also to learn. And you always want to make mistakes, so it's a trial and error. And one of the last thing I would say, also not being fear of, we always as immigrants and people coming from other countries, we feel that an accent is a problem when it's not. So everyone has an accent, like from different races, from different people who were born here. If you're Italian, if you're Greek, if you are from Africa, you are from, like every single one. People, French francophones who speak in English, they have an accent. Anglophones that speak in French, they have an accent. So you have to also not uh, not to fear, like to show also where are you from. But I will say I was always very welcome, like with my teams or with people I work with. Like it has never been an issue. But I think it's some people that come from other countries, you feel, oh my god, I have to have the perfect accent. When at the end of the day, as long as they understand you properly and you have a clear way of communication, I think that had helped me to say it's okay to like to be proud of where you come from, and then to also they specifically in Quebec, because there's a lot of the language is a little bit a touchy subject because of what happened in the past in the history of Quebec with the even the religion as well. So you need to be careful. But if you show them that you made the effort to talk their language properly and to know their culture, they welcome you with open arms. And so far, my experience has been positive in that sense. But that's how I was able to overcome that the language barrier.
Yeah, and I find it fascinating because this day and age, you hear a lot of people that do digital marketing, and the trend is just to think that it's just funnels, graphics, but you really need to know the culture in order to create significant campaigns for your clients, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah. You need to understand their traditions. You need to understand what you can say or what you cannot say. Like because at the end of the day, yeah, you have to be careful. You can't do a joke about language. You have to be careful. You have to be careful compared to our countries where the traditions are different on the way we talk. But I think everyone is catching up to the same type of way to communicate. But it is basically a different culture. Uh, my father always told me when I moved, there's a say in Spanish that says, "A donde fueres, haz lo que vieres." Where you go, do what you see. So I
Mhm.
think that's a key thing. You have to be very like open to see basically uh, what are people are doing, how they're behaving, uh, and to be able to learn from them and understand the culture and the people from here.
So once you were speaking French, finding your way, you got into Beauclair, and then you worked for 15 years or so, moving up. How was that experience of moving up, and what were the challenges that you had to face from starting as probably individual contributor and then to running a team or managing or more complexity?
Yeah.
What were some of the challenges that you had to overcome to keep moving up?
Yeah. So basically, I think like when you start for sure, well, you don't have a lot of experience. So I think one of my challenges is I needed to keep myself um, uh, inform, but also educate myself through reading articles, through online courses of the different. Because when I started, for example, I was the first to start the social media platforms for Bookler because it started at that point, I think 2008 or something, 2000, something like that. So like it's just like sometimes you need to learn as you go. Like also I feel that people and the new generations and even myself when I was younger, sometimes you're afraid to try. but you need to learn on the go. Many times in your career, you need to do it as you go, and for sure, like it takes courage. It takes you to be prepared all the time. But for me, one of the challenges was to basically learn as I was working, to be able to handle projects like launching a new website, creating the UX, creating a product database, things that were very new when I started at Duclair. They didn't even have a website, so learning to create all that, learning a little bit of code. I went to a school to just to have the basic knowledge. I wasn't wanted to become a professional coder, but at least sometimes when you have a little bit of knowledge and there's problems or issues, you can say, "Hey, what about this or what about that?" You have a bigger perspective. So that's one of the things. On the other side, one of the good things at Buclera, I always was very close to the president and very close to the VP of marketing, where like I reported to her. I was always in front of the big projects of the companies. Even if we rebranded, even if we launched a new website, a new services, I was always lucky enough, but not only lucky. It's just because I always demonstrated I was ready to accept a challenge, be prepared, like, and be current with what the evolution of the technology was going on the websites, on social media, and other aspects. So that a lot through reading. I keep doing it. You have to keep yourself documented all the time, so if you want to still be relevant. So that's
Yeah.
actually one of the basic things. And then one of the other challenges staying at the same company for 15 years was that specifically, like, as much as what I was I was still like learning and moving. I felt that, like, you learn a lot when you change companies, when you talk to different people, new people. I always use the people who will come to Claire, the new people who were hired, to try to gain as well some knowledge and things like that. But I will say it was a bit challenging staying at the same place for maybe a little bit too long. Yeah.
So and that's fascinating, right? Because when you are spent so many years in one single company, you have a challenge of conflicts, right? On one hand, you're very comfortable with the executives and how you're operating and the projects. On the other hand, you probably experience that idea of maybe it's time to go somewhere else and challenge myself. So, how was that thought process that got you to be open to other opportunities, or were you actually searching for them, or how was that?
No, well, at one point I searched for them, but I was convinced to stay. But again, because I was very close to the president and the marketing VP, there was always the approach was always very entrepreneurial. That company and the Stokes, well, they work, and I have been lucky to find two really solid, good companies where it's almost like a startup, that where there's something always new, and something new to learn, new to develop, new to, like, be part of and grow. So I think that's one of the key things whenever you, even within my team, that I think is important to make them feel and that they are still learning, they're still growing, they're still, like, a challenge. Because if the moment you're not challenged, that's when you start losing interest. So in this particular case, I was just basically headhunt for a
Mhm.
new challenge. And that exactly at that point, I said, well, listen, I have been here for a while. I was reaching as almost 40. I said, well, maybe it's a time for me to try something. I want to push myself to, and it has been a great experience. But if I, in retrospective, I would say, I think it's important. I think you grow a lot, and you grow your like, you meet new people. I think you are also confronted to more challenges and more growth when you change a little bit the subject. I didn't change that much either because I went from home decor. So I went from the living room to the kitchen and the table because now I'm in a home retailer dedicated for small kitchen appliances, tabletop, uh, but it still is a different challenges, different industry. It's definitely different in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're working at Stokes. What kind of work are you doing? Because again, digital marketing is such a big universe.
Yeah. So I oversee well all the of the digital marketing programs such as Google Ads, Facebook Ads, as well as all the social media strategy, email marketing as well, PR, and the user experience online on our website, and again the graphics, so everything related to that. On the more like number side is more the promotions, the calendar of year, the promotions, the pricing, and as well as the brick and mortar, basically the store experience, signage in store, and basically it's a very complete role. And recently we added the branding side that oversees the packaging, all the regulations, the warranties, and that's a new field that I am heading now here at Stokes.
And over the last few years, it's been really challenging because the technology is evolving really, really fast. And I remember the commentary, for example, SEO. A few years ago, before the pandemic, companies and websites were able to score high and get traffic with SEO, but then Google changed the game a couple of times, and it's been chaotic or challenging to get it right. Uh, what's been your experience around that, and how do you navigate it?
So the thing is also you have one of the things I have learned through my career is that and my ex-boss from told me is like you cannot be perfect at everything, right? So
Mhm.
you have your strength, you have your weaknesses. So you need to make sure that for your weaknesses specifically, you surround yourself to experts in the field that will help you. So I am
Yeah.
true believer of teamwork. So whenever like you need some help, like definitely you need to either reach for an agency or educate yourself. So for in my case, in this specific, we do work with agencies for the all what it is the Google and Facebook ads. We oversee it, but we hire these agencies to bring you all the technicalities of the. You need to respect these regulations. You need to set up this thing. Like we need to we need to work with them to be able to be respecting because we had happened in the past, not in this company. If you don't follow specific, you can have big losses of reaching people or like your performance. Even it can affect your sales if you don't really set up everything properly. But that's more on the technical side. I don't oversee the technical side as much.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a very good point because, like you said, you cannot know everything about everything, and sometimes just because you can do it doesn't mean that
Yes,
you should do it. Because,
exactly. 100%.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah, no, that's something that I like. I guess at the beginning of the career, my career, like with like I am very passionate about what I do. I think I have been lucky enough to have choose a field that where I can excel and I can basically also have fun with it. But I think through my career, I learned also it's very important to have a good balanced life and work and as well delegate and trust the people that work for you. So try them and also share that passion with them so they can also be part of it. And I guess teamwork for me is one of the best things that I have learned in my career because at the end of the day, I will say you have the best results. You may think, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna add a sign to the store, but you know the other perspectives of all the parts implicated in making sales happen or making success happen. Every single part of it, operations, allocation, planning, the manpower in the store. So if you rely everyone into one objective, I think is a very important aspect of a good leader, to try to get everyone on your side to work against a specific goal.
So,
Yeah.
that brings a good point. So, because you joined Stokes at a senior level position, overseeing what seems to be quite a complicated number of pieces that need to be in balance and synchrony in order to achieve what you want. Eh, on your early days after you joined, what were some of the challenges, or what are some of the advice that you would give to somebody on how to rally the troops, how to build that trust and that authority that you need to have in order to get everyone playing together and believe in you, because it's always a challenge.
The thing is, yeah, for sure. Like I think, well, first of all, like again, as in every company, being someone new, sometimes it could you could face the okay, this is the way we do it, or this is how we always have done it. I think those sometimes mentalities is hard to change because at the end of the day, you were hired to make a change, right? You were hired to maybe bring something new or different. Not everything you'll do will be perfect. I'm not saying that, but you're hired to try to okay. So what are you bringing to the table this time? So I think one of the things, the challenge for me was that trying to see what is the status quo and then how we can improve some of the things. One of the things that helped me a lot is, I will say, over communicating, because some of the sometimes you may think that everyone understands what are your goals, what are your challenges, but you also have to understand theirs. So I think by you explaining and communicating and having build good relationships, because I think being respectful and kind will give you get you further than very being authoritarian. At the end of the day, I think the best result will be if you understand their needs, you explain yours, and you try to work together. And I think that's how so far had been helping me a lot, by really relying and explaining what are the goals, and also understanding sometimes maybe your goal is not the right one too. You have to be
Mhm.
humble enough to say, okay, well, this and this, I want to do this, and then someone tell you, no, it's not going to work for this or this. If they are right, they are right. You have to be humble enough to say, okay, let me rethink, let me go back, and okay, and then try to find a way to achieve it. And I will say communication and learning from the others as well. It have helped me a lot.
Yeah. And we tend to forget, right? No matter what company we are working or dealing with, everything begins and ends with people. So that's the foundation at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So how is so probably you were there when the pandemic happened and all of that. Have you noticed some challenges or trends in the way you operate and you do work before, during, and now that the pandemic is history?
Well, definitely the way of work completely changed. I actually started at Stokes during the pandemic in October 2020, uh, where like there was almost no one in the office. There was most people were at home, and definitely was a big challenge to be able to communicate and try to like. Uh, be able to like establish relationships with your coworkers, with your team, and everything. Uh, Even like remember, like when I arrived, no one will even turn on the camera. I was like, it's important for me. It's not because I want you guys to prepare yourselves, but it's important for me to see like the reaction there, they really like the human reaction to what we're working. Are you happy with what they're doing or not? So it was a little bit a challenge at the beginning, and but listen, like we for sure now we're still in a hybrid mode, and I still feel like personally I'm a little bit more old fashioned. I like to work at the office. I have my team here. Very often they come and different days. So I want to be sure that they see me. We have a communication together. So for me, I'm more like an office guy than work at home. But the challenges I think so far have been all gone. Like now with all the technology and communication, like this company has everything you need. Like you can work from home exactly as the way you can work at the office with all the technology tools, all the software, access to information. So, and we're only just one click far from having a meeting or a conversation. So I think it's there's also advantages as well, like in terms of being more flexible with your staff to be able to allow them, as long as the work is done, like they have an emergency, they need to stay at home, they like it's a lot easier. But in terms also even working with outsourced suppliers, I think like we have been like really adapted properly to be able to collaborate with them and work as if we were in the same office. So I don't think it has been at this point another challenge for us.
And here's another one that is very creating a lot of noise these days: AI. How has AI been implemented, adopted, or rejected in
AI has been the biggest discovery for me. It has been the biggest. Listen, definitely we use it for a lot of copy. So
Mhm.
it had helped us to go faster in terms of the copy that we generate. And so far, we are using it constantly, even for graphics. AI in graphics have evolved tremendously, where you can modify photo created from scratch. So we have been using AI in that sense with Photoshop and the Adobe Suite. They have really improved the way you could use AI to, and we're exploring some other technologies like, for example, become your own chef at home. How do I cook asparagus? How time the what's the how do I use your air fryer? So we're working on things like that to be able to give our customers a lot more value, because definitely for me in marketing has been a game changer, and we wish to continue to implement it in other areas as well, but so far it's specifically in copy, design, and eventually chatbots for to help our customers.
Uh, what is your stance? Do you think AI is going to replace jobs, or what do you think in the near
Well,
future?
listen, I would say not completely, because you still need to tweak and you still need to like AI. I guess it's not perfect. It's very close to being very good. Specifically, again, going back to, for example, French from Quebec, French for France is not the same. So there's some like different formulations and different ways to speak, and you have to be able to catch that whenever you're working with AI, because they may give you French from France, and here it doesn't mean the same thing. So definitely helps you go faster. But I think, like as humans, we will adapt. There's so much to do. I don't think it will. There's so much to do, right? In a company, I think some more repetitive things will be replaced by AI, but there will be other things that people will need to do. But I do feel that AI will just help our life to go like this and this on a personal like level. Like we needed to find something for my daughter's like birthday. AI now we use it for find restaurants and find like we went to Boston recently. Give me a tour of Boston. We have everything written for you and how to do stuff. So I think it's more it's going to improve our lives at the end of the day, and I think there will be other things where we will focus in marketing on less repetitive things and more strategy, more strategy or more different things than things that are more repetitive. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It's more like we're going to be focused more on the creative or the high uh,
Yes.
thinking type of activities,
Yeah.
and the repetitive, the research, those things that's where AI can
Because
take.
AI, I don't think AI will come out with the newest marketing campaign. You know what I mean? They will tell you whatever have happened before because of databases. They're gonna go search and give me ideas. Yes, you're gonna. I think it's a faster Google, right? It's a faster way to find information, but it's gonna come with the I don't know, like the think different from Apple. I don't think so. That campaign that Steve
Yes.
Jobs did, I don't think they're gonna come up with just do it from Nike. You know what I mean? I don't think they're gonna come up with those like amazing ideas that have come in the state. You know, like as and created brands from scratch. And I don't think AI will replace that. It will give you ideas similar to that, but not the newest idea or the newest promotion and stuff like that. You know, if I ask AI now, okay, give me ideas for promotion. Yes, I'm gonna give me probably the same ideas for promotion that we're doing now or that others are doing, but not like something completely new and different. So I think you will still need a human mind to come up with those brilliant ideas.
So now that you oversee a lot of different components, right? A lot of pieces of the puzzle that have to come together. Which one do you find the more fascinating personally to you? That this area is your favorite, you're passionate. For example, it can be, I don't know, branding or a specific area.
For, yeah, for me, I would say it would be the experiential retail. I think that's
Mm.
something that have started, and some brands. I had the chance to work this type of project with Claire, but other, like I think people and customers, yes, for sure, you shop a price, you shop something that you need, but also you attach yourself to a brand. Like in this fast world where people are working and you have your kids and everything, sometimes like you don't have time to research all the time for a new brand. You don't have time to go and visit stores sometimes as well every time. So people like to trust a brand and then stay with it, because basically if they keep giving them the value that they want, they will keep loyal to their brand. But I think one of the key things is the attaching yourself to a brand that gives you, yes, proper price, quality. But I think if you also attach in a personal level to a brand, you'll stay even longer with it. So an experiential marketing is where you make someone feel something. So for example, IKEA, when you go, IKEA has a specific way of doing experiential with the stores that are different from everyone. You can love it or hate it, but it's different. It's a unique concept. You see the big brands like Nike doing the same thing. Starbucks, when they created like their names, of the coffees, that has been very controversial. But again, it's an experience when you go to a Starbucks with how they give you the ground coffee for your plants, and the way they, again, with their names and the ambience and the music and everything. So I think for me, one of the areas I really love is that creating experience. At Nuclear, we did something like that, where we created a completely different experience from the other decor stores. And basically, there's a scent, there's a music that goes with it, the colors that is used in marketing, the layout of the store is different. So we're working on something like that as well. We have made some improvements at Stokes as well. So I think that's an area that will continue, because specifically like the you have to give customers a reason why to go to a store, or why, because now with Amazon taking over a lot of the retail, like you saw it with the Prime days that were this sale in July. What is they move the world economy with the, so you
Yeah.
need to be sure that you also give some reasons to people to come, for example, to Stokes, to be advised as well, to trust someone that will teach you how to use a product, how to do a recipes. So this is the type of experiential marketing, experiential shopping experience that makes a difference compared to other retailers. When you just go and pick up the stuff, you cannot see anyone, So I think that's one of the fields I think is going to continue to gain relevancy in the marketing world.
And have you noticed, or can you comment on the difference across generations, where some generations may be more prone to go physical stores and others prefer to just do everything online, and how you try to balance or send traffic from one to the other?
I think, listen, before 2020, I would say was a clear difference between
Uh-huh.
baby boomers going, or even up to Gen X going into stores, and then Gen Z and low, like going more into online. I think that the pandemic did a big crash course to the world about online shopping,
Yes.
where like everyone had to do their groceries online, and basically they were forced to do it. And I think now you see a lot more a variety of. I don't think the line is as divided. For sure, the newer generations are more to shop online, because the way first you can shop from anywhere in the world. Like you can have Shane shipping you things from China for $2 that you're gonna pay, and you can't compete with that. Like some garments, clothing. So that's extremely competitive, and with free returns. So it's a bit hard to compete for the more local, smaller brands in Canada. But I will say, I would say the young generation is more and more. I don't think they are at all going to the malls. They're not hanging out as the younger Canadian generations, like my wife. They used to go to the mall and hang out, and I think that's being lost a little bit more. Yeah.
And if you look at the future, the next 12, 18 months, what are some of the big challenges that you think are going to change the way things are working today?
I would say AI will play a lot more and more. I would say that will be something that will, I think companies who will jump on the AI wagon and take advantage of it will be able to uh, enhance uh, the way they talk to the customer, the way they sell to them, uh, with more personalization. So personalization is key now in this market, with too many options, too many offers, too many things. So people, I think more and more, even email, social media are becoming a little more crowded, and people are a little bit less receptive to that. So you need to be sure that the right message and the right product at the right time is sent. So AI will help to be more personalized in not only like in terms of the copy, but also in terms of the product suggestions, and also to be more assertive. So if they buy product A, what's the product B they're going to buy, product C. So AI will help us to be able to generate those flows to be able to reach better the customer. We actually just started to test some of this with SMS marketing, and we see a good increase in terms of ROI and sales when you apply AI, even by sending a message in different times.
Mhm.
So, or trying to see who's more, who's gonna have more chances of buying next time, in what period of time. And we have started with some tests where we see that you can, with AI, detect those customers that are ready almost to purchase. So I think that will be one of the key things that are going to continue to improve in terms of marketing. Also, I see partnerships, because I think the traditional media is less and less, I will say, um, people are looking at Netflix. They're looking at like platform like that where there's no ads. Just a funny story. We were traveling with my kids, and they were watching TV. One of the first time, they always watch more like the platform Netflix or Disney Plus and things like that. And they were looking at TV and say, "Oh, that already came, that ad, or they didn't know what's an ad." I say, well, this is how that pays the bill. So this is the marketing side
Yeah.
of it. So what I'm trying to say is like partnerships, and you see it in the different industries, companies that are trying to join together, doing joint partnerships to gain more sales, more visibility. So I think brand partnership will continue to increase a lot. You see it even in music. You see artists trying to renovate themselves, but you're going to see it more and more in brands as well.
Yeah, no, and that's true, right? Because I think talking about partnerships right now, every company, like it or not, it's a technology company at some degree, and you need to partner with someone who is more advanced, more leading edge, in order to keep up. Otherwise, you cannot do everything.
Yeah, that for us, for example, we partnered with many different local companies, and like Stokes is it's an 89-year-old company. So like there's not a lot of those companies
Uh,
in this world that you last and you're still relevant. So we try to partner as well with the younger brands, younger like startups, to be able to show to new generations who Stokes, and teach them like come and rediscover Stokes, because it is like through generations of Canadians, they have been shopping with us, from their grandparents to their parents and their kids and everything. But it's important to keep that message relevant and reaching the younger generations. And one of the good thing, the good ways is trying to partner with younger brands, and then you get your message out there to discover you, and then and for them it's also a good way to grow as we're a well-established brand. So
yeah. So we are almost running out of time. So a couple of questions. Number one, how would you describe an unstoppable leader?
I think a stable leader is someone who keeps learning. I think through learning, you basically continue to be relevant. I think it's someone who basically definitely for sure works hard, but also have fun. You need to be passionate about what you do, because if you just work, but you don't have fun, I think you become eventually less creative, less innovative. So I think for me, those are the some of the characteristics of an unstoppable leader.
Yeah, and I think you hit it right. You need to find that balance with fun in order to trigger your creativity. Otherwise,
Yeah.
things don't work out. So, before we wrap up, how can people reach out to you if they have questions or they would like to learn more about your work, what you do?
So they can reach to me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is linkedin.com/en/Cesar marketing. I can send it to you if you want, on the chat, or we can maybe post it as a comment in the interview.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you, Cesar, for sharing such a fascinating journey. There was a lot of insights in this conversation. For everyone who is watching us, remember that you can also hear the show on the Spanish Radio Network. Please check out SpanishWorld.ca for all news and programming. And remember, Spanglish World, watch it, hear it, read it, and download it. Thank you, Cesar. Thanks, everyone.
Amazing, Jorge. Thank you very much.